Yo, Still Bills, what's the dizzle, man? Finally dropped the homie off, man. But peep game, Brody. I want I want to talk about Punch Drunk just posted something about the brothers getting mad that Teofimo Lopez is having a fight on Juneteenth. And I was a lot of Latinos fighting on that particular day. Which we have a right to get mad. I mean, you know, that's a celebration for us, for the liberation of our people. The physical bondage, you dig? We broke the physical bondage. We're still under bondage by others. That's a different story. We ain't even gonna get into that. They have a point to be mad. They have a reason to be mad. However, there were a lot of points being made under that video that need to be taken into consideration. Now, I think a lot of people, Cinco de Mayo isn't necessarily a day for, you know, that was, to my knowledge, a day that was created by white folks, you dig, in celebration of Mexican. I don't know, but I know white people had a hand at, you know, making that day the day it isn't as important to Mexicans as September 16th is. However, nonetheless, they have a point where they're saying black fighters fight on Cinco de Mayo. That isn't problematic. They'll headline. I mean, Floyd is the one who started that shit. And on top of that, wearing the colors of the Mexican flag is a way to taunt the Mexican opponents that they face. That is very disrespectful. It's extremely disrespectful. Now, granted, nobody has been through the turmoil that we have been through in America as black people. Nobody on this planet has been through the turmoil that black people have been through. That's just undisputed. However, they do have a struggle that should be respected. They do have a struggle that should be respected, and lines shouldn't be crossed simply because we're black. Y'all ain't been through what we've been through, so we can talk our shit about whatever it is y'all got going through, because, you know, you can't compare what happened to y'all to what happened with us. Nobody has been through nobody has suffered the shit that we've suffered, not even close. But that doesn't mean nobody else has faced a plight that should be respected. It's very much so offensive for black fighters to come out on these Mexican holidays in Mexican colors, in Mexican attire, sombreros and all that. That's highly disrespectful. It's highly disrespectful. Imagine a Latino. Imagine Teofimo Lopez walking out on a fight that he's having on Juneteenth with a kufi on, you know, an unk on his trunks, you know, RBG colors on his robe or on his gloves. We would feel some type of way about that. Black media would have a field day with that. Black media would dumb out. All of the conscious black brothers would have a field day. The sisters would have a field day on their YouTube platforms. They would, and they'd have a right to. They'd have a right to, because I'd be offended by that. But on the flip side, when is it, all right, enough is enough? Why can't we respect their culture as well? Why is it that we expect respect just off rip, but we're not willing to give it? You understand what I'm saying? Like, now granted, Latinos is real comfortable with saying nigga. I'm not a fan of that. I draw an immediate line in the sand when I hear it. I'm not a fan of that shit. Like, we are not brothers of the same struggle. We don't have any allies. We don't. But that doesn't mean we got to go out and disrespect another's culture. You understand what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that at all. We shouldn't be fighting on Cinco de Mayo. Black people get so caught up and comfortable with, nothing we can say is a sin. No joke anybody can make is as cynical as a joke. I mean, you got to think, laws were created on the backs of jokes regarding black people. Jim Crow laws. You dig? That shit was spawned off a fucking character from a minstrel character. So nothing is as cynical and hits as deeply as a black joke. Nothing does. There's always going to be a racial undertone to it. And now my daughter is calling me. Oh, no, she's not. It's always going to have a racial undertone to it. So nothing is as cynical. That doesn't mean we can't be cynical in regards to somebody else's culture. That doesn't mean that. There was no Jim Crow for, you know, for Latinos abroad, for Asians abroad, for white people abroad, for the indigenous. No, it wasn't. That doesn't mean that we can't have, you know, there's some there. That doesn't mean that we can just cross a line. We can cross a line and it be acceptable. That's fucked up. That's real fucked up. And we have to take that into consideration. You know, we do. My wife is Latina. When Floyd came out and fought, we ordered that fight when he fought Oscar De La Hoya, and that shit was like, she was feeling some type of way about that when he walked out and in that red, white, and green. She was supposed definitely feeling some type of way about that, as she should. As any person of indigenous, you know, I don't separate the Latinos from the, you know, from the indigenous, because they, you know, they're one and the same. But anybody from indigenous origins should have felt some type of way about that. That's not cool. Couldn't nobody walk out in the dashiki and think that would be acceptable when they're fighting a black? Imagine somebody doing that on Juneteenth. Imagine somebody having a imagine if Tyson Fury came out in a dashiki in Black History Month when he fought Deontay Wilder. Imagine that. Imagine how disrespectful that would be. Imagine that. He come out with a you know, the afro, like how Khabib Nurmagomedov comes off with the, you know, with the blonde fro. Imagine he had a fro with a pick in the side of it, like a wig or whatever. Come out in the dashiki, RBG colors on his trunks, Unk on his trunks, RBG colors on his gloves, Black Lives Matter spray, you know what I'm saying, embroidered across his fucking his shoes. It would be disrespectful. It would be highly disrespectful. And I have noticed that, you know, we get, you know, and until I started thinking critically, I never saw it as an issue. But we are getting to a point where it's like, man, you know, it's whatever. You know, we're not thinking critically. It's funny. It was funny to see Floyd come out that, you know, in them colors against Oscar De La Hoya. We didn't think nothing of it. It was comical to us because we couldn't think critically. Because once again, nobody has been through what we've been through in this country and abroad. So nothing is as cynical as a black joke being told. But because nothing is as cynical, we think that there's no way we can be cynical to somebody else's culture, and that's fucked up. That's very fucked up. You dig? When is enough enough? When is it like, all right, bro, like that shit is just drag out disrespectful. We shouldn't go there. You dig? Mexicans hate Floyd Mayweather for doing that shit when he fought Oscar De La Hoya. It was extremely taunting. It was distasteful. It was disingenuous. It was. When you sit back and you know, when you gain the ability to think critically, you understand how problematic and demonstrative of an act that was. As a black man, I'm a black. Hey man, listen, ain't nothing. You see me, you see. I'm a black man. You ain't gotta go back generations, 4 or 5 grandparents. Say, oh man, he got black grandparents. No, you see it when you see me. I'm a brother. So this, as a black man saying this, you dig? It's very distasteful. It's not cool. It's not funny. It's fucked up, honestly. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. Because if anybody walked in with any sort of, you know, any sort of attire attributes that speak to black culture on Black History Month in a fight, that would be deemed problematic. And that could possibly ruin their career. You dig? I'm just saying, we got to get to a point where we start to respect each other's culture. We do. We real life do. We ain't got to like each other. It ain't about being allies and trying to gain some sort of alliance between us and them. No, it's not that. Because it'll never be that. Not in my eyes. We don't have allies. John Henry Clark said we ain't got no friends. If you don't know who John Henry Clark is, go look into yo, you slacking on your black studies, brother. But he said it best. Just because we don't have to be friends politically and, you know, economically. We don't have to be that. On an individual level, I got Latinos I fuck with. White folk I fuck with. But that's on a personal, individual level. You know, not political, not economical. I'm on the south side of Omaha, Nebraska. This is Mexico over here. They don't do business with black folk like that. And they not wrong for doing that. There's nothing wrong with patronizing your own and looking out for your own. Respect that. But also respect their culture. You dig? It's just too much. It's too much disrespect going on. And when you speak on it, it's, oh man, the world is in a sensitive place. No, it's simple. Respect. Why is it cool for you to walk out with a fucking sombrero on your head and Mexican flag with the Mexican colors that represent our flag and our culture? Why is that shit cool? But it would be def con level 5 if I walked out with an Ankh on. Why or some Medu Neter on my trunks? Medu Neter is hieroglyphics for people who ain't hip to, you know, the real. That shit would be fucked up. That shit would be fucked up. The symbol of the continent of Africa on somebody's fucking trunks. Think about that. Think about anything regarding the black struggle, black culture. If they put that shit on their trunks, think about how problematic that would be. That's fucked up. It's real fucked up. So we have to respect, we have to respect each other's cultures and draw them, create them bounds, create them lines and say, all right, yo, me and you was cool, but you can't cross this line right here. You can't do that. And not, you know, and not expect me to respect you afterwards. You know, if we gonna be men to respect who I am as a person, respect my culture, respect my lineage, respect my heritage, and I'll give you that same in return. We could be the best of friends. We can be on a personal level. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gotta go, you know, I'm not asking you to go to no protests, and I'm not gonna take you to none of the meetings that I attend. And I wouldn't expect you to do the same, because that's your people. That's your plight. You don't want anybody coming in there trying to reshift the focus of what it is that y'all trying to accomplish. When you start colluding people into different people out, you know, not of your people into your struggle, that's when the goalposts start to get moved. That's when the focus, the focal point of what it is we got going over here starts to go, you know, all over the place. It's no longer about this. That's the problem black peoples have with allowing everybody into their struggle. So on a social scale, you dig, keep shit separate, but that doesn't mean we have to be disrespectful. Being separate and segregated, they're not the same thing. They're not. You dig? Being a separatist is you willingly putting up that barrier. I'm willingly doing this. And if you want to come over here and patronize me, or I want to go over there, I get that right. I want to come into your establishments and pay for your services, and vice versa. You get that right. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about getting ran out of the store and possibly killed. No, separatists and segregation are completely different things. And if that's the route you want, being a separatist doesn't necessarily mean it's hateful. Keep that line there. There's nothing wrong with that. But simply be respectful. Be respectful of other people's culture. Be respectful of other people's culture. Do not stop walking out in Mexican attire when you're fighting a Mexican. Because one day y'all gonna get what just that one day you're gonna find that Mexican that's like, man, fuck this, I'm tired of being disrespected. And they gonna super OD drag that shit. I'm talking blackface, the straight up and down minstrel show look, the overly big lips, buck in the eyes, the nappy hair is gonna be, and that's gonna personally set me off. Like, I'm not gonna be like, yo, I'm not gonna find nothing funny about that shit. I'm gonna be mad, ready to beat some shit up. But we would have asked for that. These boxers doing that, they would have asked for that. Because in their eyes, nothing is as cynical as black struggle here in this country. And granted, nothing is as cynical as black struggle in this country. That doesn't mean their plights have to be disrespected. So it's just simply about just respect. Just respect what we got going on over here. Respect my people, respect my struggle, respect my plight. And I'm going to do the same thing in return to you. I don't see how that's such a hard feat. Give people respect. Respect that man's culture. Stop coming out there in them damn Mexican colors. Stop coming out there in them sombreros. Stop doing that shit, man. Because it's not cute. It honestly isn't. There's nothing cool about disrespecting somebody else's lineage and culture. Because the minute they match your energy, you're going to be, you know, I'm telling you. The minute, if Teofimo or any other Latin fighter was to come out on Juneteenth, or you know, they caught wind, all right, cool, we in May. Malcolm X's birthday is on the 19th. Happy Omawale Day coming, you know what I'm saying, coming up. They get a fight on the 19th. They come out in some, just anything pandering to, you know, any speech that Malcolm X has said, by any means necessary. Imagine that. They had that shit, by any means necessary. Or some regarding to Islam. And they're not Islam, they're Christians. They came out with that, and they had that shit all over their goddamn trunks. That would be a problem. That would be a problem. Like, I wouldn't feel that shit, and y'all be like, this nigga got me fucked up. And black media will have a field day lighting his ass up while he's laughing at all of us. And that's what y'all get. It don't feel good, do it? It don't feel good, do it? Motherfucker coming out, imagine somebody coming out with a beret on. Taking shots at the motherfucking Panthers or something like that. These are black icons, man. And black culture that we hold and held, you know, we hold that shit in revere. And we're proud of it. So for somebody to come out and shit on that would be problematic. So they don't want their culture to be disrespected. Respect it. Simple as that. Dead all that coming out in sombreros and Mexican colors. That shit ain't cool. Because the minute they match our energy, it's really gonna be a problem. Peace.